G'day guys, welcome to the Forged by the Fire podcast. I'm super privileged to sit down today with Bruce. He's been an inspirational and very influential member of my life and what's got me to where I am. He's basically my fire dad. So really stoked to talk to you, Bruce. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been good. We've had a good talk about some challenges and some amazing events and stories in Bruce's life, and his adventure of 45 years as a firefighter. He's an incredible leader, and we learn a lot from his story. A lot about decision making, a lot about what's changed, and how to manage challenging relationships. And we hear about how you grow leaders, and I've really enjoyed it. I've got heaps out of it. I'm sure you will too. So feel free to tune in and enjoy. Thank you very much for listening. Drop any comments or questions down below, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks very much. All right, Bruce, welcome. Man, it's so cool to have you here. Really appreciate you coming on, and I'm excited to hear from you. First of all, just straight off the bat, just for the audience as well, how do you describe your role? What's your career as a frontline service worker look like?
Yeah, so I joined when I was 18,
Yep.
back in 81 actually, and today, 45 years today in the
No way.
organisation.
Hey, congrats, man.
Cheers.
40, how many?
45.
45.
45 today. So
Holy.
it's been it's
Go
gone
Bruce.
quick. It's been a bit of a wild ride,
Yeah.
and seen a lot of change over the years, you know. So,
I bet.
back in the 80s, we certainly didn't have the equipment and the things that we got now, but
Yeah.
probably the biggest change I've seen over those years is the relationships.
Yes.
Especially, we're in a composite brigade, and there's always been friction between career firefighters and volunteers.
Okay.
And in the early days, I think it was about, and I'm going to call it a perceived thing, that we were there to take overtime. And volunteers certainly didn't think like that.
Yeah.
Like for us, we were there helping our community, doing our thing. We had a strong interest in what we were doing.
Yeah.
We still have a strong interest, but we had a strong interest.
Yeah.
And, we were a growing city. There was only X amount of career stuff, and nothing's changed actually in all those years. We've had an extra station come on, Greeton, but really nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, the city's just growing, the demands have got bigger, but the manpower is more or less the same. Yeah. As you know.
Yeah. I've not been involved for 45 years though, mate.
Yeah. But back in the 80s, there was quite a lot of animosity between the career guys and the volunteers here.
Yeah.
I would say in the 1990s, there was some industrial struggles going on, and things were going on with the organisation, and it got quite nasty. Yeah. I think we survived it quite well here in Tauranga, and I'm putting it down to just relationships.
Cool.
I've always strived hard to build relationships with our career firefighters, and to me, it's just a lot of personalities. A lot of the bad stuff that you hear around the country is just personalities and head banging. We're all there to do the same thing. We're all there to serve our communities. Yeah. Some do it for money, and some do it for love, if you like. Yeah. But we're all there to do the same thing now.
Why did you just to me when you said money? I'll just putting that out there.
Some of us do it as a career. Some of us don't.
I just spoke about it. Yeah.
I think since the 90s, that experiment that wasn't too good. Yeah. Things have got better. And really what hit it home to me is, during the CST times, the heat got taken off the volunteers, if you like, because their focus was somewhere else. Yeah. And what really brought it home to me was we were having a beer down on the Strand one day, because the career guys would not talk to the volunteers during that time. Wow. On the job was fine. If we went out on a job, it was fine. But back on station, everyone just stayed away from each other. It was quite nasty. But the turning point for me was the volleys were having a beer down at one of the bars down along the Strand one Saturday afternoon, and a couple of the career guys come walking along the street. Just, obviously they were looking for a beer, and they just walked up to us and said, "Can we join you guys for a beer?"
Hey.
And to me, that was the turning point.
Wow.
This is like they want to engage with us. That's really cool. And we sat down and we had a beer and haven't looked back really.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old dinosaurs, I'll call them, that had real issues have gone. They've retired or passed. And we've got a really neat bunch of younger firefighters in here that don't have all those old world hang-ups. And we've built up really strong, good relationships and just gone for it. Probably one of the biggest things that myself and Brendan Jeffs at the time, you remember Brendan?
Yep.
So one of the things that we sort of instigated along with the union local was to have annual meetings, just to have that conversation between the local and the volunteers, just to see what the problems were, if there was any, and just discuss practical solutions.
Yeah.
Because way back in the 90s and that, we were having management would play one off against the other. And I don't really, not going to mention any instances, but there were quite a few, and just blatant lies were being told by management and just to each other, to each group. And it really, really pissed a few people off. And and part of those conversations, that reaching out to the union and having those talks was getting to the truth, what really actually happened. And from that time, actually, things are just gone really well. And today, I think in Tauranga here, we have such a good working relationship with our career guys. We do everything socially together.
Awesome.
And as I travel around the country in my day job, and people say, "Oh, where are you from?" And I say, "Tauranga." And they say, "I need to talk to you because we hear good things about that brigade and the relationship between career and volunteer, and we'd like to replicate it. What's the secret?" And I don't really know what the secret is, to be fair. If I'm being honest, I don't know what the secret. I think it's just treat each other with respect and have nice conversations. And deal with the nasty stuff if it happens. But I haven't seen it happen for many years. So
I love it. That's super cool, and I can't wait to go through some of those challenges, and it's gonna be really cool to hear from you. But I want to sort of start almost from the end, if you like, because I want to hear. There's been a recent. You're in the Tauranga Volunteer leadership. There's been a recent restructure there, right? And I think I would like to hear about that for you, what your new role looks like, but also just I guess the legacy that means for you of what you've built. What are you most proud of in that space as you stand as a leader now? What are you most proud of in what you've built?
I think for me, probably the thing that I'm proudest of is just how everyone gets along with each other and the camaraderie. Like you guys, we take the piss out of each other, and there's just constant banter, and that's really cool. To me, laughter is the best medicine. So when you're having a good time and a good laugh, that's pretty cool. You referred to the recent changes. How that came about was, Gretton Volunteer Unit and the Mount Volunteer Unit dropped off in numbers. A lot of senior members moved away or left, and it left them wanting for, some sort of leadership. So Bill Pike, our group manager, suggested that maybe what we do is we look at a combined brigade unit. And we worked on that for 2 years. We've been working on that to do all the legal background work on it, because there's quite a bit to it, and getting FENS to agree to some of the things. They drew up some legal documents, and we didn't like parts of it. They didn't like parts of it. But at the end of the day, we negotiated quite a good legal document.
Awesome.
We had the brigades involved right from involved, which was good. Getting some feedback from them. We started doing a lot of combined training. One thing we've never done much is combined training with the same brigade with 3 different volunteer units. Never really trained with each other much. So probably a good 3 or 4 years ago, we got quite heavily involved with the Mount Volunteer Unit and trained their recruits, brought them through. and it was just really good, you know, getting to know people, making relationships, and just getting on with stuff. When Bill suggested it, I sort of thought, and I said to him, Bill, you're just making your problem my problem.
Yeah.
And he just laughed. But we've gone through what we've gone through. We're now official in November 25. We become one unit. Yeah. Still 3 stations. Yep. But and we're just working through some of the management around that now. You know, the management of each station still, and we've added op support in as a 4th unit. Though it used to be combined with the Tauranga operational guys. Yep. Training I see is going to be a real benefit for us, because previous to now, all 3 stations were recruiting ad hoc, doing their own thing, training recruits at different times. We're going to set up a training team, and they'll all, you know, we might only recruit 2 or 3 times a year, all 3 together, and then those recruits will move through together on courses. And it's some exciting times. It's early days. Yeah, we're still setting up our systems and processes, but I think once we get that done in the next couple of months, it's really going to be good for us.
And that shuffle up come with a new role title for you?
Yeah, so part of the thing was I've become the Chief Fire Officer of the Tauranga Volunteer Unit.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's here, yeah.
Or commiserations. No, early days.
I guess. Like, I think, it's awesome. It should be celebrated.
So as part of that, we've also got 2 Deputy Chief Fire Officers. Yep. And, you know, part of going forward is it's the best person suited for the job. You don't have to be assigned to any particular station. It's always going to be, you know, 3 executive volunteer leaders. Yep. But what stations they come from, it doesn't matter. Like I say, right people for the job. Yeah. And then so.
Good on you. That's seriously cool. And hopefully our mics handle the rain okay. But I think that's an incredible legacy you've just described, is that, you know, you've obviously got this new role, but even just what you were saying about people, you know, asking you about what's the secret with, you know, this composite brigade, what's the secret with this volunteer brigade. I think that's an awesome legacy and really should be celebrated. So let's rewind the clock then and go through some of this stuff. As you mentioned, things have changed. So, set the scene for us. What can you expand on the challenges with composite brigades in the 80s and what that looked like?
Yeah, I think back then it was just we did get on. You know, in the early days, we got on, get the job done. I mean, Tauranga was quite different. We had a station at Mount Maunganui. We had a station in Tauranga. There was no harbour bridge. Wow. So, you know, for the Tauranga station, we went to the top of the Kaimais and you know, Paispa Oropi was all part of our patch. So if we weren't getting, you know, one house fire every week, our throats were cut. Yeah. You know, and you know, we were getting, in the 80s there was economic downturn and there was a lot of arsons happening, especially in commercial buildings. Okay. So we were really, really busy in the early 80s. Yeah. Which was good, you know, as a young guy. And at that time I was trying to get into the career staff. Yeah. And a lot of the career firefighters knew that. And we used to train together every Tuesday night. So like when I first joined, the SSO would line all the career guys that were on duty up and all the volunteers up, intermingle them and then number them off into a crew, assign a truck. Wow. And if there was a job, you went out on that truck. Yeah. So it was nothing like if you were assigned to, the call signs are different now, but if you were assigned to Tauranga 1, you might have 2 career firefighters and 3 volunteers or vice versa. You know, the career guys might be on Tauranga 2, which is, you know, the second truck. So it worked well. And that training together worked really well because, they were teaching us some really good skills, but they were also getting to know us one-on-one and knowing what our skills were like, you know, because we come from varied backgrounds. Yeah, 100%. You know, and we all bring different skills, as do career guys, you know, and they haven't been career firefighters all their lives. Most of them have come from different working backgrounds. So it was really good to build up that relationship, get to know each other one-on-one. And as an 18-year-old, they sort of took me under their wing a little bit, and I got some really good one-on-one teaching from a lot of the older career guys. And I never went through with that, the career thing, for various reasons. And at first I did, I was upset about it, but now I'm not, with things that have happened over the years. I've seen a lot of real good, nice people that were career firefighters turn into negative people just because of what's been happening in their space. And I remember one old career firefighter said to me just recently, do you ever regret not getting into the career staff? And I say yes and no. Yes, because of what it was, but no, because what could have changed me to become, a negative person. Like I've seen so many people end up.
Wow.
It's a shame. But it happens.
So in the intro, you discussed that there were challenging times between the volunteer brigades and the career brigades. Can you, what's challenging about a composite station? First of all, can you describe what a composite station is for those of us who might not know? And then, just paint a little bit of the landscape, if you could.
So a composite station is a mix of volunteer and career firefighters. Obviously, the career firefighters are there 24/7, and the volunteers get called in to jobs, on the PDAs or predetermined attendance requirements and what have you, and whatever else is going on. I think the challenges really have been around relationships, and the lack of not knowing each other on a one-to-one personal basis. That was really an us and them, because we didn't talk. We didn't communicate.
And what era was this, sorry?
This would be back in the 80s. All of the 80s, more or less. In the 90s, it changed dramatically. And then in the 2000s, it just got better and better, and we haven't looked back. It's just all about building relationships and sitting down with people and getting to know them.
So in that setting, when did you go from into a leadership role in the Tauranga Volunteers?
Since 1995, I became a station officer. So that's when I became a leader, and I was just a station officer, and then can't even remember, to be honest, what year I became the OIC of the Tauranga unit.
Wow.
It happened. I can't remember. It's a long time ago now. And it's had its challenges. People are different. Whenever you get more than one other person in the room, there's going to be issues. I'm probably not too PC when it comes to a lot of stuff. I swear a lot. So, and it's not welcome in today's world. But I also believe we're probably too PC these days. And sometimes you've got to speak your mind. And I've seen that. In fact, I went out to a house fire last week, and one of the Greaton career guys was out, and we went out. It was at a brigade north of Tauranga, and one of my he's not new, but one of my senior firefighters who's just completed and passed a SO course. I said to him, "Look, I'm going to drive. You're riding up tonight." So we went out, and he really went with it, And this career officer come up to me, says, "He's doing bloody well, Awesome. He's just like he's doing this, And I said, "Yeah, he never used to be like that." I said, he caused us so many issues, Early on, he was freelancing all the time. You'd try and pull him into line again, and it just nothing was getting through. It was going in one ear and out the other. And then he changed just like that. And I thought it was marriage that changed him, but turns out it wasn't. I said to him, "Hey, I don't want to mention names, but I said, "Hey, what you've changed? You know, you're really good now. You're listening, and you've settled down. Marriage is obviously working really well for you."
Yeah.
He says, "It wasn't me getting married, Bruce." He said, "It was you."
Yeah,
and I
wow.
said, "Oh, how did I do that?" And he goes, "Well, can you remember the car accident? We went onto the harbour bridge and the car had rolled and we were there and we were doing our thing with the career guys and I came up to you." Am I allowed to swear?
Go for it. Yeah, you're fine.
And he said, "I came up to you and I said," because the road was blocked and and we could have opened a lane. And he said, "I said to you, do you want me to open one lane so we can get traffic moving?" And I said, "If I wanted the fucking lane open, I'd fucking tell you now, get back down there and fucking stop them." And I don't even remember saying that, but he reckons that was the turning point for him.
Yeah.
Because he got a shock with my language and my attitude towards him. But man, I'll tell you what, since then, he's just been awesome.
Yeah, wow.
And I see him, and I've told him, as a future leader in this brigade. So he's got real good leadership skills. But
I think that's an incredible part of what you do, as far as, you know, I've had the privilege of coming through as a young guy in your brigade, and I still feel a great sense of belonging in your team, a great sense of community, and I think it's something that's, I don't know if I've seen anywhere else, or at least it's very, very rare. So yeah, I'm really curious to know, how do you do it?
yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. And, you know, you mentioned proudest moments before.
Yeah.
And it's just something I've thought about now. You know, in my time as a leader of the Tauranga Composite Unit, I've had, it's been a pain in the ass to be fair, but over that time, we've probably had about 14 of the volunteers go through and to become career firefighters, both male and female.
Yeah.
And they've gone through and to be career firefighters. Now that's pretty special for me. So that says to me that when they're joining us, and you probably attest to this because you've been there, whether the environment that we're setting or, you know, how we work has perked your interest to take it further and do it as a career.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, but that's pretty special.
It is.
That done that.
Yeah. And even to what you were saying before, where, you know, composite brigades come with inherent challenges, the fact that you've taken those challenges and created an environment where it's, you know, where that's your legacy, is outstanding. And so, yeah, take me through the early years of you being a leader and in the brigade. So what did you say, mid 90s?
It was in the 2000s, but I just can't remember.
Yeah.
I became an ESO at 95.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was a brigade leader at that stage. I was probably just a crew.
Yeah.
Just part of the team.
Yeah, sure. But what did that early stage look like? You're talking a lot about relationships. You're talking a lot about you know, how you interact and get to know people. How did that look back then? And
You've got me.
so, like, it doesn't have to anything fancy. Just like, I guess, little cultural things that you've noticed, whether it's different now or things that you had to learn.
Yeah, things are a lot different now. You know, like back then, I guess, you know, in the early days, fire services came from, most of the people that made them up came from military backgrounds, and there was really strict, you know, processes and ways of doing things. And back then, training was different. You know, like you could berate people. You know.
Yeah.
and they used to me, they used to learn. You know, and I know it's old fashioned and we don't do it anymore, but
sure.
People learnt things, you know, and they got on and got things done.
Yeah.
These days, we're 2PC. Yeah, if I can say this, we are 2PC, and I think it's just a whole different environment. It's not only in the fire service; it's in all employments. You know, like people are too soft. You know, you got to be careful what you say to people because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to make them cry, or next minute you're having a PG or whatever. You just got to be so careful and choose your words. It's quite different. That's a challenge for me because I'm sort of I'm old, been around.
But I mean, obviously you've navigated that challenge really well. And how did you navigate it going from then to now? You obviously still manage those relationships really well. How do you manage a relationship in a modern PC environment?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know, it's really. You can't be as authoritative, if that's a term I can use. Yeah. You've got to probably more mentoring and coaching more than anything. Hey, you just explain things slower and demonstrate things slower. It has been a bit of a challenge, but I guess because it's been happening for so long, I've been in the role for so long, there's no hard and fast thing. It's just something that's evolved over time. Yeah. It's not something I really think about, to be fair. Yeah. But probably what helped me along the way too is from the age of 21 in my working career at that stage, I became a people manager. You know, I went into a supervisory role. So since the age of 21, I've always had people, you know, to mentor and to manage. Yeah. And that's helped. That's helped. You know, when I see some people now that are in roles, senior roles, and they've never mentored staff, they struggle, and the people that they manage struggle too because they come across as quite arrogant. I don't think I come across as arrogant.
Sure.
But, I may do to some, and I don't care. But you know, it's you've got a where you're. But it's softly as she goes a lot of the time now.
Well, I mean, evidence would show you've adapted really well. With that change, you mentioned earlier that there was a story you might like to share, with comparing a bit of personal experience of how we used to deal with things compared to how we deal with things now. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to dive into that a bit.
So we talk about how things have changed, and I know you're talking a lot about leadership. I'm going to talk a little bit about the equipment. You know, like when I first joined the brigade, we'd go to a structure fire and the BA sets would stay on the truck. We only had two, and you're a sissy if you put one on, right? So that's one thing that's changed. All our PPE's changed, all our standard operating procedures, we have them now, we never used to. You know? So safety is the number one thing for us. And you know, I quite often get from my firefighters is, you don't look after your safety. And I say, we do, we just don't make it obvious. We're always looking after your safety in the background, you know, just keeping that overall picture, because I say to my officer group, safety is your number one priority. Yeah. And especially, and welfare checks on each other, you know. Yeah. Our equipment's changed heaps. But one thing that's really changed for me is the way that we deal with death and trauma. And, you know, when I was a young fella, joined up, like many of the older generation, it was like harden up, take a concrete pill and get on with things. You know, you just kept a lot of stuff inside. You didn't share experiences. Especially men. Men don't like talking about that sort of stuff. You know, I know women do all the time, but men do not. They like to bottle things up, right? Yeah. And what really, really brought it home to me was quite a number of years ago. And I've seen a lot of death by accidents and by fire over my 45 odd years, and I don't think about it. And one thing I personally don't do is I make a conscious effort of not looking at people's faces when I see, you know, that they're deceased or whatever. That's just something I've always done. Yeah. But subconsciously it must happen. And because what happened with me, it was an experience we had in the brigade where one of our brigade members attempted to commit suicide. Wow. And we were quite a close-knit unit. And that really shocked us. He didn't succeed, but that really shocked us. And for anybody that's been through, you know, suicide or attempted, it really, really shakes up your emotions. And that was my first experience. And man, I was having a hard time because we were friends, right? And colleagues, and I was having a hard time processing it, and you go through it. I call it a real roller coaster ride, sadness, angry, why didn't they reach out?
Yeah.
Why didn't they talk to me? I'm approachable, I think.
Yeah.
But if they couldn't approach me, somebody else, And I remember being in the shower one morning getting ready for work, and I was having a sad moment, and to be honest, I was crying in the shower because I was in a sad moment, but an angry moment at the same time. And I always remember this, and it's a story I tell our new recruits now. I closed my eyes, and when I closed my eyes, and I don't know if you've seen pictures of, say, a stack of photographs where people have just flicked a corner and you see different pictures.
Yep.
And when I closed my eyes that time, I saw the faces of people that I'd seen that have died over the years at incidents that I'd been to. And it was just like, it was so quick. And I remember opening my eyes, and they must have been as big as saucers. And I just had the water straight onto my face, and I shook my head, and I said out loud in the shower, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
It was just in the subconscious, but it's not something I actively thought about.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that's a shocker.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I said that out loud, and I've never ever thought about it ever again. The second time where it's really hit me, and like I think back, in 2018, I went to 19 fatality road accidents in that year.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot, and we turn out with the ISV, and we're assisting the police with a serious crash unit. We've built up a good relationship with them. But some of the stuff we do is we do have to give them a hand to do some stuff, and we put the right people in there to do that. But one I went out to, and it was out at Te Puna, where a lady got killed by a drunk driver. And there was two of us just standing back while the guys were cutting her out of the car. She was deceased, and they laid her at our feet. The undertaker hadn't arrived yet. It's quite unusual for that to happen, but it happened. And I looked down at her, and I looked at her face, and I thought, you poor lady, she saw what was coming. She had a scream frozen on her face, right? I don't think anything of it. The undertaker eventually come, but I struggled. Probably for 2 weeks, quite emotional over that period. And the other guy I was standing next to, after 2 weeks, he says, hey, remember that accident we went out to at Te Puna a couple of weeks ago? And I said, yeah. So I've been having trouble sleeping from that. And I said, it's funny you should say that, because so have I. I've been emotional. I just don't know why. Don't know why. I've seen all these accidents, but that one there's really affected me. I said, how about tomorrow night after work, we meet down at a bar and we'll just have a beer and talk about it. Yeah. So that's what we did. And we sat down, we had a beer, and we talked about what we saw, what we did. As guys do, they start talking about all sorts of other rubbish and crap, and we had another beer, and that was it. Totally forgot about it. No more issues after that, And to me, I sat back afterwards and I thought, man, I didn't think stuff affected me. Yeah. I can manage to get it out of the head, but it's not. It's there. Yeah. So now I tell those two stories to all of our new recruits, and I say to them, and I've done this since, and we do it. When we come back from a fatal job, we debrief. We sit at the station and we have a chat. Good. And with my officer group, I make sure that they do that, and it's only the people that went out to that accident. And we debrief, and then I'd say to the officer group, within 24 hours after that debrief, contact each one individually. Have a conversation. Are you doing okay? Do you need any help? Do you want to have a talk? Do you want to have a beer? Whatever it takes, And, because we do have, stuff available to us, professional help should we need it. But we've found over the years that just having that simple debrief, talking about stuff, not sharing it with everybody, that works. And this is where I feel sorry for the career guys, because if they come back at the end of a job and they're going off shift and not seeing anyone for 4 days, that sits on their mind. We don't do that. We're lucky enough that we can sit down and debrief.
That's so cool.
But that's pretty cool. And I've seen such a change amongst ourselves by simply sitting down and doing that and sharing. and talking about our experiences. And for me personally, it certainly works.
Yeah.
Yeah. After bottling a
Yeah.
couple of things up and then have them kick back at me. Yeah. Yeah. It's a family at the end of the day. And this is what I love about being in a fire brigade. You know, I've travelled around the world a lot in my previous job, and I always went and visited fire stations and you know, Australia, around Asia, America, and the Pacific Islands, and they just honestly, everyone makes you feel welcome. You know, you come in and they're interested in your fire department back home, and you're interested in theirs, and I've just struck up so many really cool, close friendships, not only in New Zealand but overseas as well, and I keep in contact with all those people. You know, it is a worldwide family. There's no doubt about it, and you know, there's no other place you can go into a room full of total strangers and just strike up a conversation. And you know, most places you go into in any workplace, you'd have a little group there and a little group there, a little group that's got clicky. Fire brigade, you can get in there and it's just strike up conversation with total strangers. And get on. It's
Good.
cool.
Yeah. Has there been a time in your career as a leader where might have already sort of asked this, but I guess I think you mentioned in the introduction that there was a time where that relationship sort of came under threat, a bit of a few lies or something going around. How did you lead the brigade through that? How was the relationship managed through that? I wasn't the leader at that time. Okay. Yeah.
I was coming up to that position, so I was quite heavily involved in it.
Yeah.
And basically, it was during the late 90s industrial action where there were some proposals to make some pretty radical changes to this brigade. And we had a manager at the time saying to the volunteers, meeting with the volunteers and saying, well, the career guys are going to be striking and they're going to do this. Will you jump on their truck? And will you do this? And will you do that? And we said, no, we're not going to do that. If we get paged, we'll come in as normal and we'll go and deal with it in our normal truck. We're not going to sit on stations. We're just going to do what we do as volunteers. Unfortunately, the manager went and saw the career guys and said, the volunteers are going to come and sit on station, man your truck and turn out. So you can imagine how that went down. It was like a cup of cold vomit. Yet, because we weren't talking at the time, because of the industrial action, they wouldn't come and ask us about it. We didn't go and talk to them about it. So that's why it got a little bit really anti-everything at the moment, at that time, I guess. And it wasn't until we struck up those conversations one-on-one with the local, with no managers there, and the truths came out of that time. This is probably 1 or 2 years later, after it all been resolved. When the truths came out, that's when the relationship changed and just went ahead, leaps and bounds. So that's where it's really important, you know, to have conversations and be honest, you know, and truthful. We were lied to, they were lied to, and then no one knew the truth, and people just made stuff up. And it was hard. It was hard, really hard, but we're in a good place now, I got to say. We've got a good bunch of people all around. And nobody's perfect, you know, like, I'm going to say this and it's probably going to upset a few people, but I get really irked at the professional firefighters, that term, you know. To me, there's volunteers and there's career firefighters. There's professional, what I call professional firefighters in both the career and professional firefighters and the volunteers. There's no, and there's some real dickheads too in both sides, I've got to say, you know, so sorry.
It's your take on it.
It just annoys me, but because there is professional people in all areas. And there's really unprofessional in all areas. Right through from volunteer, career and management.
And when it I suppose talking a little bit more to your current leadership role, how do you address it? Like you're saying, that you have had some problems in your own brigade, but it sounds like you lead it really well. What's your process?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one, that actually, Levi. The biggest thing is, like, I like to get buy-in from everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't come down from the top and say, you shall be doing this and we will be doing that.
Yeah.
If we do, I will do it, but after getting feedback from the members. You know, like, someone might suggest something and then I seek feedback, and I talk to the officer group and we have those discussions, and then I will make a decision, you know, but that's with everyone's input, you know, it's something I like to do, is make a decision, because in this organisation we find that people don't make decisions, and I see that in my day job in the organisation as well. It's bloody frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's good to be able to get all the facts together, make some nice hard and fast decisions. Might not be the right one, but at least it's a decision, and if it's the wrong one, then you don't let anyone know, you fix it. You know, so I mean, it's the same on the fire ground, eh?
Yeah.
You know, like, you're a leader, you got an incident in front of you, make a decision quickly, because you have to. Might not be the right one, but as soon as you see it going wrong, change it.
Yeah.
But don't tell anyone. Lock that up. Look, I just get buy-in from everybody. I think I've got a really good team around me, which makes all the difference. And I say to them, shit flows downhill. You know, we're a team. It's not me. It's us together as a team making decisions and getting on with stuff. And if you get buy-in from everybody, it just makes it so easy. Yeah. What makes it hard is when, and I always say there's no I in team. We do get eyes, you know, you'll get it in your crew. We get it in our volunteer unit, you know, there are eyes, you know, and it's bloody hard sometimes to try and mold them to get into that, get into the team atmosphere and into the flow. But most people do take stuff on board. You get the odd ones that don't. Yeah. And they'll either leave or they sort of get in with it. So it is hard though. Yeah. And sometimes you do have to sit down and have the conversations with them. And I rely heavily on peer pressure. Heavily on peer pressure, because I find that works so well. Yeah, okay. You know, if I get a group of people come and complain to me about a particular individual, I say, have you challenged them? Have you talked to them about it? And they go, no, it's your job. It might be my job, but call them out. You know, if you see bad behaviour, call them out. Have those conversations, and they do. Yeah, you know, and I find that just actually works quite. It saves me a job actually, because they deal with it when there's a bunch of them. Peer pressure works really well. Yeah, sounds like you. I don't know. Could that be just accountability in your own team as well? Like, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I love delegating things. You know, like I'm not one of those leaders that needs to know everything, the infinite details of everything. You know, if there's a project or a task that needs to be done, I'm happy for people to do it. But just keep me in the loop, you know, in the high level stuff, keep me in the loop so I'm not blindsided. Probably actually an example that I'll use is that in the Tauranga unit, we run a duty crew system, right? And we go from week to week. So you get assigned a duty crew, and you're expected to be on call from 6 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. the following morning in your duty crew, and on the weekend at 6 p.m. Friday night to 6 a.m. Monday morning. So if you're busy, just call one of the other crews and you know, get some cover. It works. Yeah. But we had 3 duty crews, so we used to do 3 weeks about, and then quite a few of the members said, you know, it's quite a bit to be available every 3 weeks. Yeah. Can we change it to 4 weeks? So we went down that track, you know, and a couple of the guys have said, look, you guys seem to be leading this. Go away, have a think how we can do this. Come back with the reasons why we can or can't do it. what we need to do to make it happen, and let's just have a look at it. And they did that, and they come back to the officer group. They were only senior firefighters at the time, and they come back to the officer group and said, this is our proposal. We looked at it and said, yeah, that'll work.
Cool.
So we recruited a couple of spaces and we changed things around, and now we're on a 4-week thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
because
cool.
you get 3 weeks off,
Yeah.
and you do your own thing. It's really good.
Good on you.
But I love delegation.
Yeah.
I don't like doing all the work myself.
Yeah. But it keeps your brigade engaged by the sounds.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It makes them feel like they've got some worth as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I do like to think I'm approachable.
Yes. No, absolutely. I guess, going a little bit more into, I think this might actually be the first time we've had a volunteer voice on the panel, on the podcast, actually. Can you shed some light for, like, I suppose I remember roughly what it was like to be a volunteer, but that was a long time ago and before I had a family of my own. How do you manage, what do you see as the unique challenges, and how do you manage such a impressive volunteer commitment for so long, and your family sort of?
I think for me it's become habit.
Yeah. Well,
Or
yeah,
I
I
need
guess
committing
45
or
years.
something,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a firefighter right from school days.
Yeah.
And the fact was that I never went into the career staff because I could see as a volunteer, actually at the time I was earning more.
Yeah.
So that was, and I started having a family, so I would have to lose too much money to go to a career position. There was some stuff that happened in the background, back in the day, it wasn't what you knew, it was who you knew.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was promised 2 positions in the organisation as a career firefighter, and they fell through simply because the people employing at the time they knew people. So I just packed a wobbly and said, nah, I'm not going to do it. I was earning good money in the job I was doing. As a volunteer, I was getting my fix, going out and attending incidents. And also going to all the large incidents. As a volunteer, you go to all the large incidents. As a career firefighter, you only go if you're on shift. So you got a 1 in 4 chance.
Yeah.
So that's why I carried on.
Yeah.
And in 2018, I was lucky enough to get a full-time job in the organisation, and I love it. And people say to me, "Are you enjoying the job?" And I say, "I get paid to do my hobby."
Yeah.
And I love it. And
That's awesome.
I was really, really expecting a lot of pushback around the stations, around around our region actually, because traditionally a lot of those stations have been really anti-volunteer. Career stations I'm talking about now, and traditionally they've been really anti-volunteer, but I've never had any issues. And to be honest, once again though, making that getting those relationships going, and I've had no issues whatsoever. Made some really good friends around both in volunteer world and in the career world.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's really struck me is how needy some volunteers are.
Yeah. Okay.
From different brigades. And, it's like coming from here and thinking, this is a bit weird. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But things are changing, across the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The organisation is on a journey at the moment, as you're well aware, and it's making it hard.
Yeah.
It's making it hard. And there's a lot of negativity. Not only in the career world with what's going on in their world, but right across the organisation, there's a lot of negativity creeping in to all facets of the organisation, from the backroom people, the career staff, the volunteers. It is a journey. We'll get to the end of it. It's just a bit of a road to get there, and some decisions need to be made, I guess.
Yeah.
And they need to be made and got on with. And that's the thing that's, as somebody working in the organisation now, it's really hard to see them making any decisions. And I wish they would, so we can just get on with life,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. You've told a really amazing story of your, career as a volunteer, starting in a space. I mean, it sounds like you've always managed, you told me a story of you've always managed your relationships really well, and you've built a community now that has respect from far and wide, as to what you've built. And I know you mentioned you don't know, you tell people you don't know what does it, but I mean, the story you've told me tells it, speaks to your ability to manage relationships, and there've been some real gems of your decision making and your ability to delegate and incorporate accountability and communicate through lies. You've told them, it's an amazing story, and I just want to know, before we round out, is there any other chapters that I might have missed that story that you reckon is like a significant role to what's...
I don't think so, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think, as I said, people say to me all the time, what's the secret? And I don't honestly know.
Yeah.
I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm no one special.
Mm.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough for that to have it happen, to be honest,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of horror stories out there, and I see a lot of, I see a lot of different ways of how leadership works.
Yeah.
And some of them not so good. But yeah, I've just been lucky. I'm me. I've never been any different. So it's just something that's flowed on. I don't know what to say when people say to me, what's the secret? There isn't one. It's just relationships, and trust and respect, really, at the end of the day.
Relationship, trust and respect. I love it. I really do. And I think you've told, well, there's not one secret, but throughout the last hour, I think you've shed a lot of light on some really cool stuff. So, yeah. I think that pretty much closes out our hour. Bruce, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem at all. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was nervous, but I've enjoyed it.
I'm really looking forward to having you back again and again, because, you've shared some great stuff. I'm sure there's heaps of value for a lot of people out there. I know I've learned a heap. So with that, thank you, Bruce.
No
and
problem.
enjoy the rest of your day.
Me. Thank you.
Cheers.
See you,
and
mate.
thanks, guys, for listening in. If you have any questions for Bruce or any other topics you'd like to hear from the podcast or from Bruce in particular, feel free to chuck it in the comments. We're real keen to hear from you, and appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.